Chris, what is our second main topic today?
Our second topic comes from someone with an amazing name, Thaddeus Michaels Jones. Oh, so good. Good morning, treasure hunters. So I just read some news that has me a bit confused. I just saw that Justin Bartha from the first National Treasure movie is coming back in the same role for the National Treasure series on Disney+. Does this mean the two worlds are connected? Does this mean we could get Nic Cage appearing at some point, or that the TV cast could appear in the third movie if that ever happens? What do you think?
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And listen, I think Justin Bartha has gotten the worst short end of the stick in Hollywood for a long time, because when you think of one of the truly iconic great Hollywood comedies, Hangover, I'm not saying that facetiously, that is truly one of the great American comedies. I think that movie is hilarious. I laugh myself sick every time I watch it, doesn't matter. But when you think of The Hangover, all you think of is the three guys. There's a fourth guy in there, and that is Justin Bartha, who of course played Nicolas Cage's best friend in the National Treasure movies. Now, that being said, we've known for a while now that Disney is moving forward. They've already done most of their casting and stuff like that for their Disney Plus series of National Treasure sans Nicolas Cage. There's no Nic Cage in there. So it has brought up the question I've heard from several people before that I've never known the answer to personally, because I've never cared enough to really look into it, but is, okay, but is this in the same world as the Nicolas Cage one? Like, does Nic Cage's character live and exist in this world? And then, of course, a while ago, we heard that they are actually trying to get the wheels going on a true National Treasure 3 movie, that they're still working on trying to get that pulled together, and it very well may come. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if within the year we get an official announcement about it. They've already announced that they're officially trying to get it together, but let's see if it's actually gets a green light. Well, then a press release came to me from Disney yesterday saying that Justin Bartha is going to be in National Treasure, and more specifically, and more importantly, he is playing his National Treasure character in it. This comes to us from Variety, writes the following. Justin Bartha is getting back into the treasure hunting game. The actor will return to the National Treasure series for the upcoming series of the same name, Disney Plus announced on Monday. Bartha starred in the two National Treasure films released in 2004 and 2007 as Riley Poole, the best friend and computer expert sidekick of treasure hunting lead Benjamin Franklin Gates, also known as Nicolas Cage. Bartha will appear in a guest capacity for the upcoming Disney Plus series, which stars a new cast of treasure hunters searching for the lost Pan-American treasure. That comes to us from Variety. So the answer to the question is yes. This is happening in the same world as the National Treasure movies. It means, yes, theoretically speaking, Nicolas Cage could make a surprise cameo. And I'll tell you right now, that is not as far-fetched as you might think. I'd actually give it a 50-50 shot that Nic Cage pops up in this thing. Maybe the last episode or whatever in a cameo, but I think he's going to pop up in it. And it does mean, yes, I will also give a 50-50% chance on this, that when National Treasure 3 actually gets its wheels going, you're going to see one or two of the cast from this show will be in that with him. I think they're going to cross this over. I think we're talking about a National Treasure cinematic universe here. So we want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this video, ExpressVPN. Now, guys, does it make sense that the same company who controls half the online retail also passively eavesdrops on your private conversations at home? Or what about the idea that a single company controls 90% of the internet searches, runs your email service, and gets to track everything you do on your smartphone? You guys know that big tech is more powerful than most countries are, and they profit by exploiting your personal data. It's time to put a layer of protection between your online activity and these tech juggernauts, and that's why I use ExpressVPN. You see, when you run ExpressVPN on your device, the software hides your IP address, something that big tech companies can use to personally identify you. So ExpressVPN makes your activity harder to trace and sell to advertisers. ExpressVPN also encrypts 100% of your internet data to keep you safe from hackers and eavesdroppers on your network. So stop handing over your personal data to the big tech monopoly that mines your activity and sells your information. Protect yourself with the VPN that I I trust to keep me safe online. Visit expressvpn.com/Campea. That's expressvpn.com/Campea to get 3 extra months free. Go to expressvpn.com/Campea right now to learn more. Anyway, let me throw this over to you, Chris. You hear about this. Number one, what do you think about Justin Bartha showing up in this thing? And then what do you think that means for the possibility of Nic Cage in the series or the series characters being in the movie when and if it ever does come out? What do you think?
Well, I'm very excited about Justin Bartha coming back. I think he's a great actor. I first saw him on Teachers, that show.
Oh, I remember that.
I thought he was just so wonderful in that. And in comedy, it really is hard to be the straight guy and stuff. You know, when everyone else gets the zingers and you've got to be the more stoic character that they bounce those things off of, it's tricky. And I think his turn to National Treasure was really great too. We always love the guy at the computer. At least I do. That's always my favorite kind of part. So I'm really excited to see him coming back as Riley. I absolutely think this means we could see Nic Cage in here. Does he say no to projects? Does Nicolas Cage turn things down? I think if offered, he would absolutely come back and make a little stint on this. I think it'd be great.
Rob, you're hearing about this. A couple things. What do you think about them bringing in an actual National Treasure movie character into the series? What do you think about Bartha joining it? Do you think this increases the chances of maybe Nic Cage popping up? And do you think then later we start to see the cast from the show appear in the National Treasure movies?
Well, I think, look, I like continuums of storytelling. I think it's when I was a kid, I'm going to bring it up. I know don't hit me. But when Star Trek the Motion Picture got made, they brought a TV cast forward and put them in a big movie. And that didn't happen much. You know, that was something fairly new, like the X-Files movie hadn't happened yet. And to have a connective tissue from this 2-film series, I think is great, because then it legitimizes a national. This becomes of a piece with the other 2 movies. Like, they're considered in the same continuity. You know, it makes you want to go back. It ups the profile of the entire National Treasure, call it a franchise, if you will. And I think it absolutely opens the door to, why wouldn't Nicolas Cage come back and do an episode or a cliffhanger? You know, maybe he agrees to star in the end of season 1, beginning of season 2. And then you can absolutely bring back other characters from the films, because you've already created the expectation that, yes, we live in a world, John, where people are used to shared universes and all of these things. So it gives, I think it's the way to go. If you're ever going to revisit a franchise, give it some kind of a link to what came before. And then it becomes, the lines between movies and shows now are blurred anyway. So they didn't used to be, but they are now. So I think it's great. And I absolutely think this will open the door to Nicolas Cage coming and doing a cameo.
Guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? Justin Bartha is returning as his National Treasure character in the National Treasure Disney Plus series. If you were somebody, let's face it, most people, nobody's talking about this series, but maybe they will now. Does this move maybe give you a little bit more interest in checking out the series? Do you think we could see Nic Cage maybe pop up? Do you think maybe we could see the main cast of the show pop up and join Nic Cage in National Treasure 3? Whatever you guys think, jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.